legendary #1 headband. Its promise is power, omnipotence, immortality. But at what cost? One that is greater than any man can imagine, and heavier than any man can bear. No soul who has ever worn its tattered grace has ever escaped the torment of its infinite burden.
This is the premise to one of my favorite animes of all time, Afro Samurai, a series that I consider to be a forgotten masterpiece. This video will be a remastered overview of my previous Afro Samurai video, with a slight twist. This time, instead of going over the anime and getting a copyright claim on the video, I'll be going over the manga. If you don't want any spoilers, I highly suggest you watch the anime before reading it. I'll also be talking about the anime at the end of the video. Along with this, I'm also going to private the previous Afro Samurai video. Now with better skills, I can give the series the justice I think it deserves. Also, speaking of things I think are deserving, terrible segue I know, I would really appreciate it if you hit the notification bell, and please like and subscribe. We are getting super close to 5,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for watching and your continued support. Now on to the video. In the first chapter of the manga, we see Afro as a boy. He's watching his father, who is the #1 headband wielder, getting ready to fight the #2. Afro's father loses and is decapitated in front of him. Now we see Afro as an adult fighting a group of people, a group which Afro decimates despite the odds. During the fight, unbeknownst to him, Afro is being observed by an old man with a #2 symbol on his head. Now before he dies, the last guy remaining asks Afro a question. Why is Afro after the #1 headband? Afro replies, it's simple, revenge. The old man who was observing Afro contacts his group. We now know his name is Brother 2. Brother 2 is part of a group known as the Empty Seven. Their plan is to intercept Afro and take his headband. If they're able to do this, they can gain divine power. Afro then meets up with a man with no name, but because of the anime, he's known as Ninja. So now whenever you see this character, that's his name. Ninja then tells Afro where the #1 headband is located. It's located on Mount Sumuro, aka the Mountain of the Gods. Afro is continuing his travels to the Mountain of the Gods, when he stops to rest along a road. While resting, he overhears a group of thugs trying to fight a man by the name of Shichiguro, who is with a young child named Kotaro, who he tells to go home. Afro gets up to intervene the fight when he is recognized. The group pulls out a wanted poster for Afro and directs their attention to him. They question Afro if he really is the #2 headband wielder. Shichiguro tries to goad them into a fight, but since Afro is there, they tell Shichiguro that he's not worth their time anymore. So seizing the opportunity, Shichiguro starts to leave. But he can't help but look when he hears fighting behind him. So he turns around and sees the group decimated by Afro. Being impressed and thankful for Afro's help, he offers to have a drink with him at the local inn. Now at the inn, Shichiguro offers Afro a drink, but he refuses. Afro doesn't drink alcohol, but he does accept the dinner. Shichiguro leaves to put Kotaro to bed, leaving Afro alone with the innkeeper. The innkeeper reveals that he knows who Afro is. He tells Afro about the group that's put the bounty on him and who's been observing him, which are the Empty Seven. Finally, the innkeeper reveals his and Shichiguro's backstory. They were both assassins until the innkeeper got injured. Ever since then, Shichiguro has been protecting him and Kotaro. All three of them now have just been scraping by trying to make an honest living with their noodle shop, when they are both interrupted by Shichiguro's return, who promptly challenges Afro to a fight. The innkeeper urges Shichiguro to put that life behind him, but wanting to provide a better future for Kotaro by seizing the chance to get the bounty money, he continues on. Now at their dueling site, the innkeeper tries for the last time to talk Shichiguro out of it, but there's no going back, and the fight commences. Shichiguro is able to hold his own against Afro for a bit, but he ultimately falls to Afro's blade. In his final moments, he tells Afro that maybe we could have been friends. Then the innkeeper comforts Shichiguro by telling him he'll take care of Kotaro, making sure he'll have a good future. But then out of the corner of his eye, Afro sees Kotaro staring right at him, mirroring the man Afro vowed to kill, but this time he's not the kid, he's the killer. Brother 1 is talking to an assassin named Gorokube. He makes a deal with him, that if he's able to kill Afro, then Gorokube can have whatever he wants. Gorokube agrees and he'll take everything the Empty Seven have, Now at the festival, Afro is finishing killing the assassins the Empty Seven sent, when suddenly Gorokube attacks Afro with heavy artillery weapons, using the likes of RPGs and miniguns. Afro uses a lady as a shield in order to get the upper hand and kill Gorokube. In the aftermath, Afro meets up with Ninja, who tells him he needs to take a boat to reach the base of the mountain. Ninja also warns Afro that at the base of the mountain, it's the secret hideout of the Empty Seven. Not to be deterred by this, Afro continues on. Afro arrives at the base of the mountain in the Empty Seven hideout. The Empty Seven, in preparation to Afro's arrival, hired hundreds of assassins to kill him. Ninja points out to Afro if he wants to get higher on the mountain, he has to get to the base of that Buddha statue. From a cliff on the mountain, Afro is ambushed by a volley of arrows. The person responsible for this is Brother 4. Afro dives under the boat for cover, but his right arm gets shot in the process. Thinking he's dead and wanting to retrieve the headband, Brother 4 sends Brother 6 down to retrieve it. But to the brother's surprise, Afro was able to swim away and sneak up on the cliffside, where he was shot. Afro starts cutting down the archers despite his injuries. Brother 6 catches up to Afro and they start fighting. Afro is able to cut down Brother 6, but to Afro's dismay, Brother 6 catches his blade, which allows him to execute a surprise attack, where Brothers 4 and 5 pop out. Brother 5 stabs Afro with a spear, and Brother 4 takes his blade. We then cut to two people observing the battle, a boy in an Oni mask and a man in a bear suit. We'll call Bear Mask Kuma and Oni Mask Oni. These two people are guardians of the number 1 headband wielder. Oni comments on the Empty Seven breaking their truce with the number 1 headband wielder. Kuma comments that he knows Afro will win, and when he does, Kuma swears he'll destroy him. Brothers 4 and 5 want to savor the moment and take their time killing Afro. When Afro looks like he's done for, they move in for the kill. To both of their surprise, Afro is able to catch the blade and kill both of them. The hired assassins move in to kill Afro, when they are stopped in their tracks and stunned by the sight of Afro. Afro appears to be in a beastly state. Observing from afar, the two remaining brothers, which are 1 and 2, start to fight. Brother 2 starts to give up hope and berates Brother 1 for his dreams and goals of divine power, causing Brother 1 to kill Brother 2. Brother 1 then takes Brother 2's arm, which has a cybernetic grenade launcher attachment. Now nearing the base of the Buddha statue, Afro passes various mantras. Afro is then ambushed by Brother 1 with a massive explosion. Now Afro is staring straight down the face of the grenade launcher. Brother 1 goes to shoot, when luckily for Afro, he ran out of ammo. So Brother 1 resorts to choking Afro. Afro goes back into his beastly state and rips off Brother 1's arm. While begging for mercy, Afro finishes him off by stabbing him. Now even more severely injured, and on the brink of death, Afro continues on. When he is confronted by Kuma, Kuma chastises Afro for his life choices. All the lives Afro has ruined, the hatred he's created, all for the sake of revenge and to achieve his goals. Kuma states that death is well deserved for Afro and he'll have to atone for his sins, but not today. Their battle will be at a later date. Kuma wants to fight Afro at full strength to crush him, so Kuma tosses Afro off the bridge, sending him spiraling down into the ravine, ending the volume. We also get a couple pages of facts and trivia about the manga. Afro awakes in an unknown location. He is being taken care of by an old man and a lady named Sachi. Sachi explains to Afro that the village they're in is very special. It's a religious village dedicated to worshiping and spreading the teachings of their Lord, a religion they hope to spread throughout the world. We are now in a flashback. Afro is a boy and he has been taken in by a samurai master, who will be simply known as Master. Afro has been mute and the Master has no idea of Afro's past. Afro meets the other students that Master has taken in: Big Boy, Kazuma, Otsuri, and Jinosuke. Jinosuke and Otsuri are siblings. Seeing that Afro can't speak, they decide to give him a name. You guessed it, it's Shaggy. Just kidding, we all know it's Afro. Now back in the present, Afro has been recovering in the village for about a month. The old man who first helped Afro asks him his plans for the future. Afro shares. After hearing this, the old man shares that the people in this village were once on a similar path, but learned forgiveness, something that perhaps maybe Afro could try? But the old man gets the idea when Afro doesn't reply. Ninja pops in and makes fun of the state Afro is in, how relaxed and comfortable he looks. But he quickly leaves when Sachi returns. We then cut back to when Afro is a teenager, completing his training and being recognized as a man. During the celebration, Afro gets ready to leave, when Otsuri follows after him. Afro tells Otsuri he has to go get his revenge. It's the only thing that he thinks about. But he asks Otsuri to wait for him, so when he returns, they can be together forever. Then they kiss. Just when Afro is outside the village, Jinosuke and his master see him off and wish him well. Otsuri also gives Afro a metal comb to not only remember her, but everyone Afro has grown up with. Now back in the present again, Afro has fully recovered. Sachi looks for Afro, and when she finds him, Sachi invites Afro to the final mass before her and her people go spread their religion, and he goes to complete his revenge. But she asks Afro once he's completed his mission to return to her. Afro goes to the church with Sachi, and to his horror he sees that the lord they were worshipping was the #1 headband wielder, the same man who killed his father. Sachi then questions Afro if he would be willing to forgive the man in order to save the world. Afro refuses. So Sachi and the villagers try to kill Afro, but he cuts them down and meets up with Ninja, who tells Afro where to go next. We are now in another flashback. Afro has returned from his journey, and his fellow students suspect it's because of their master's birthday. Otsuri comments on how Afro has completely changed. She informs Jinosuke he went straight to the master's room and hasn't come out. It has been 5 years since Afro has left. Afro then confronts his teacher. He learned in order to enact his revenge, he needed the #2 headband. He found out about this from a man on the same quest looking for a certain man. That man was you, Master, Afro says. Outside, Jinosuke and Big Boy notice a group of people have surrounded Master's building. They suspect the group is after Afro. We know this group is the Empty Seven. Back to Afro, he's asking his master to hand over the headband, but his master refuses. The master shares he took the headband for himself for a specific reason. He hides and protects the headband from the world. Doing so prevents wars and bloodshed, and the legend of the headband would eventually die out, ending the chaos it causes. He then gives Afro an ultimatum: strike him down and take the headband in the name of revenge, or forgive and forget and live a life of peace. Just as the Empty Seven are about to commence their attack, Jinosuke and Big Boy attack them. Starting to be in over their heads and overwhelmed, Otsuri shows up and Big Boy tells her to go warn Master and Afro. Jinosuke fights through to protect Otsuri, and when he reaches Master's house, he sees Afro cutting down their master. He then collapses from his injuries. Afro then sees the Empty Seven trying to kill him and Jinosuke, so he goes into a beastly state and kills the remaining attackers. Now in tears, Afro picks up the headband. He has attained what he's looking for, but at what cost? Seeing the place in ruins and on fire, he starts to walk away, with Jinosuke burning in the rubble with the image of Afro walking away, burning in his eyes. This is now where Afro first meets Ninja, who guides Afro to the location of the #1. We are now back in the present, and Afro has returned to the base of the Buddha statue, where Kuma is waiting for him, now ready to reunite Afro with his father. Afro and Kuma start fighting. Kuma is happy that he waited for Afro to return to full strength. While fighting, Kuma reveals that he knows that Afro knows who he is, which he then reveals himself to be Jinosuke, telling Afro this isn't a battle between a man and a bareheaded freak, this is a battle of brothers. Jinosuke, as a result from the fire, has been tragically disfigured, needing machines to survive. While the two are fighting, Oni observes the battle. Jinosuke tells Afro at first he didn't understand why revenge drove Afro to kill their master, but he understands now that he seeks revenge towards Afro. However, even though he can understand it, it doesn't mean he can forgive Afro. So in order to make Afro atone for his sins, Jinosuke swears to kill Afro. They both go to settle it in a final clash of blades, to see who's faster. As they clash, we see a flashback of Afro sharing his goal of revenge to Jinosuke. He tries to steer Afro away from that path. He says besides, killing him won't bring back your parents. Jinosuke also shares he won't let anger trap him away from his dream of becoming a master swordsman. Doing that, he would be able to repay Master for taking him in as a child. Jinosuke tells Afro to think of Otsuri and how sad she'll be if he leaves. But Afro must continue on his path of revenge, he says. So Jinosuke makes Afro swear to a promise: return in one piece and make Otsuri happy. Afro agrees to do so. Now back in the present, Jinosuke has the upper hand, and is about to cut Afro down with a strike to his head. But to his surprise, the metal comb Otsuri gave Afro protects him. He thinks to himself, why are you getting in the way, Otsuri? Why do you love this man who stole your future? The metal comb gives Afro the chance to land the final blow on Jinosuke. After killing him, Afro turns around and bids his brother farewell. He continues on until Ninja pops out, questioning and making fun of Afro for being sad. What, are you gonna blame all your problems on the number one? He didn't make you kill all those people. You chose this. You chose to be on this path. He then points to Afro the direction he needs to go. We see Oni talking to a doctor named Darman, and we learn Oni's true name is Takimoto. Afro arrives to the top of Mount Sumuro, the land of the gods. Ninja tells Afro number one is located in the giant Buddha statue. Once he arrives to the statue, Afro is confronted by Takimoto, who tells Afro there's no way he can allow him to become a god, not with all the hate and spite Afro carries. But he gives Afro a choice: become a guardian like him and protect the number one, or die. Afro chooses the latter, but before he can fight, Afro is bound by metal wire. Takimoto questions Afro if he knows what will happen after number one is dead. The ramifications of him doing this would be catastrophic. The purpose of the number one is to control people like Afro, to keep the world in check. Afro's father, the previous number one, abandoned and failed his duties. Having lost their god, the world went into chaos. Takimoto then mocks Afro. Besides, he can't possibly kill number one. I can promise that. So for the sake of the world, will you abandon your mission or die like the dog you are? Afro says, I won't do either. I'll keep fighting until I find the number one. Takimoto accepts Afro's choice and retreats. I won't be your opponent, he says. My job is to observe. Then Afro sees the opponent is his father. Afro starts fighting his father, and he's eventually able to burn him, revealing that it's not Afro's father, but an Afro droid. This is a result of the data the MT7 have been collecting on Afro, finally being able to collect the fruits of their labor. But Afro is able to make quick work of the Afro droid, making his way into the Buddha statue. When he's confronted by Darman and tons of Afro droids, Afro jumps into the horde of enemies in his beast state. We are now in the final chapter. Afro is devastating the Afro droid horde, while Takimoto talks to Ninja. Ninja is surprised he can be seen by him, indicating that so far only Afro has been able to see Ninja. Takimoto reveals that since he made a pact with number one, he cannot die, shedding what humanity he had to be something else, something Ninja can get down with. Afro is able to unlock all the seals to the number one chamber, and when Takimoto is about to go and stop him, Ninja intervenes. Takimoto asks Ninja what he's trying to do by siding with number two, and Ninja replies, I just do what I want when I want. And he's able to attack and injure Takimoto. Are you truly the will of the universe? Takimoto asks. Ninja replies, I am what I am, you dig? Afro kills Darman and then opens the door to see number one sitting in a chair. He rushes to stab him and succeeds. But to Afro's surprise, number one crumbles to dust. He was already dead. Ninja tells Afro he has to accept reality for what it is. Number one was already dead and he got his revenge. Now Afro, you're number one. I can't wait to see what kind of age you'll create. Do the right thing. Ninja then leaves Afro alone in the number one chamber. Years pass and we see a man open the door to Afro's chamber. It's Kotaro, ready to take his revenge for Afro killing Chichiguro. Afro states, do what you like. If you want to kill me, kill me. Kotaro goes in for the attack but fails. Afro decapitates him, and now looking at Kotaro's corpse, he goes into a state of hysteria, crying and laughing maniacally to himself. We then see Ninja and Takimoto waiting outside Afro's chamber. When the door opens, Ninja informs Afro, through his actions the world has gone into chaos. The future of humanity is in his hands with whatever he decides to do. So he asks Afro, what will you do? Afro simply states, I'll just keep moving forward. Ending the manga in the final volume, volume 2. Also, like the first volume, we see more facts and trivia at the last few pages. Now to talk about the anime briefly. After reviewing both the anime and the manga, if I had to choose which one to recommend, I would still choose the anime hands down. Overall, in comparison to the manga, the story in the anime is fully put together. I think in total there's 5 anime episodes and 1 movie, which is around 3 hours and change of content altogether. Your standard anime season is 12 episodes or 4 hours. So in comparison, what Afro Samurai was able to do in that short time is just amazing to me. However, I do think the art stays pretty faithful to the manga actually, which I was surprised about. Not to mention in the anime the great music soundtrack that accompanies it, which is composed by RZA, a member of the Wu-Tang Clan. In my opinion, he just produced banger after banger for the show, which definitely just adds to the overall vibe of Afro Samurai. To put it in perspective, I would give the anime of Afro Samurai a 10 out of 10. My only problem is I was left wanting more. If I had to rate the manga, I would give it around a 6.5 to a 7. Like I said, the story was jumbled, but the art was really good, along with its interesting world and concepts. But I think the author did a much better job when he worked on the anime. Plus, I mean, in the anime, Afro and Ninja are voiced by Samuel L. Jackson, so how can you not like that? Please let me know down below, which do you think is better, the manga or the anime? Or if you simply just like both of them. So thank you for watching, please like and subscribe, and peace.